Hi, everyone. If you've watched this channel or you're a member of the club, you probably already know me. I'm Jakob Mueller. I'm currently the president of the Ottawa Field Naturalist Club. Today, I'm going to give you a quick run through on how to upload observations to iNaturalist from your PC. I know a lot of you are already using iNaturalist, which is great. If you don't know what iNaturalist is, it's an amazing tool. We're encouraging everybody to start using it. It's a citizen science database. So all of the observations that you make when you're out being a naturalist, observing nature, all of those observations of plants, animals, fungi, any organism really, goes into this great big database and helps scientists and researchers all over the world look at distribution and presence, absence, and all sorts of other things. It's a really, really great tool and a really great way to make your passion contribute to our wider understanding of our natural world. If you do already know iNaturalist, you already use it, maybe you only know it from something you do on your smartphone. It's so much more than that, though. If you haven't checked it out on a personal computer yet, I encourage you to do so. There's a ton more functionality there. Basically, any photos you take on, I go out in the field, I use a DSLR, maybe use a different type of digital camera. Maybe you have older photos that have been scanned into an archive or something. You've got them on your computer. All of those things could turn into records on iNaturalist. So enough of me talking. I'm going to share my screen and okay, here we go. I'm sharing my screen. I just went to iNaturalist. This is my personal main landing page when I come in. That's my username. If you don't have to have a goofy, nerdy new username when you set up your account, you can just use your name or whatever you like, really. But anyway, on this screen, you've got a couple of options. You can go to add observations right here or upload right here, and goes to the same place. So I'm just going to click on that. And it's going to bring me to this page. Okay, so now all I have to do is choose some files to create my observations with. Now I've already got my library here of shots, but I'm going to go back a little bit in my folder. Not there. I'm going to show you observations I made a couple of weeks ago. Walk I took in Stony Swamp. I have a lot of photos from Stony Swamp. Here we go. So I'm just going to select some photos. I'm not going to do them all at once. Now, if you have a slow internet connection, I suggest that you don't pick too many at one time because it'll slow you down. But yeah, let's just do a few, and I'll hit open, and you'll get this page. So right now, iNaturalist is uploading the photos that I've selected. The other thing that you might find is that if you use a digital camera, depending on the settings, your raw file, the photo that it spits out, even if it spits it out as a JPEG, might be a really, really big file. You might want to reduce it to speed this up, especially again, if your internet connection is upload and walk away from your computer, get some coffee, whatever. This will run and you can come back. So here you see this goose has already uploaded because it doesn't say anything anymore. And now this one has, and on it goes. So while it's uploading, I'll show you what you do here. So here's a couple of geese I saw in the parking lot, took their photo. So over here on the left-hand side is where you want to enter the details for the observation or the photo that you have highlighted. So right here, I'm going to type in Canada goose. I know what it is. It's going to load the suggestions. And, it's a little slow because I'm doing this with Zoom running too. There you go, Canada goose. I don't know what subspecies these are. Someone might increase the accuracy of that observation a little later on. Now, when you do this on your phone live, it'll take the GPS from your phone but you just need to know where you were. So I'm going to zoom in here on the map. Takes a minute to load, of course. There's Ottawa. Let's get a little closer. There's Stony Swamp. I see it. There we go. Almost there. This is usually faster. I don't recommend doing this while talking to Zoom recording. There's the parking lot. This is the parking lot for the Beaver Trail. And the geese were right there. So I'm just going to click this spot. But, you know, accuracy here, this is something to watch. Accuracy of 2 meters is really, really tight. And I'm going to put it up a little bit to something a little bit larger. This is somewhere in that area where I saw them. I'm going to update the observation. It already has the date and time from the date and time stamped on my photo, which is really handy. If you have older photos, scans or something, and you don't know exactly when, put an approximate date and time so that the observation can count in the database. If you don't have date and time data, it'll downgrade your observation and it won't count. Most of the modern digital cameras, though, will timestamp your photo for you, and some of them will even put GPS, and you won't have to do the step I just showed. I don't have anything I want to note. My location is public. You can obscure your location if you're worried that it's a sensitive sighting or you don't want to show precisely where you were, or if it's really sensitive, you can make it private. It'll still be in the database, but people won't be able to see where it is at all. If you select obscured, what will happen is it'll show a point for your observation, but it won't be the real point. It'll be a false point projected somewhere in a big box. Where your observation is for real will be somewhere in that box, and the point is just to help the map make sense at a large scale. But this one can be public, so that's all we need to do there. Now, I can click on the next photo and start entering those details. Wait, I have 2 photos of this squirrel, and I don't want to make both of them a single observation. So I'm going to hold my control key down and click on the second photo, and then up here, I'm going to click combine. Now, both photos will be part of the same observation. If you have multiple photos of one thing, it's really just one observation. Now, multiple photos can be an extremely useful thing, especially with plants where you need to look at a lot of different features. There's a lot of observations. People upload a picture of bark, and we can't identify it because we need to see leaves and twigs and stuff too. I just have 2 photos of this cute squirrel, so I'm going to put them on, and I'm going to look for red squirrel. See, it's suggesting red squirrel fish. Well, it's not that. Red fish, nope. American red squirrel, yes. It's not the Eurasian one because I was in Ontario. Here we go, the location. Now, once you've plotted one, it brings you back to the same general area, so you don't have to zoom all the way in from space again. This squirrel was sitting kind of over here, and again, I'm just going to widen the accuracy because I'm not exactly sure. That's about right, though. There we go, update. That's all we need to do. This is my first of year song sparrow. If you don't type it correctly, it won't come up. There we go. Song sparrow, and again, location. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit because it was over here in this boardwalk thing, right there-ish, in the tree I saw from that boardwalk. So there we go. Now, iNaturalist won't really shrink your photos all that much if you upload a really big file. So this one here is a larger one because I had to zoom in a lot on the bird, and I want other people on iNaturalist to be able to enlarge it and know that, yeah, that is a song sparrow and confirm the ID. Now, if you don't know what this thing is, this is one of the magical things about iNaturalist. Without entering anything, it's going to make a suggestion. Look at that. This is the artificial intelligence feature of iNaturalist. It's kind of learning as people add and identify things to give increasingly accurate suggestions to help people identify what they see. If you've ever used the app Seek, that app is actually tapping iNaturalist. It's tied into iNaturalist and it's using the same AI system. Now I know it is a black-capped chickadee, but there you go. Oh, wait. All right. So I'm just going to zoom in here. And it was right in this same area here. It was on this little deck. Update that. Now I've put all my data in that photo, but this is the same bird right here. I'm just including this photo because I don't know if you knew this, but you know, chickadees haven't been able to get haircuts during the pandemic either. This one has a mullet. That impressed me, but I didn't combine it. So I'm going to click Control and combine it now, and it's going to adopt the same location data I already put in there. So if you miss combining them before you do that step, it's not a big deal. Here's another cheeky squirrel. This one was hoping I was going to give it some food. So red squirrel. Surprised the fish come up first. Put my location. By this point, I'd walked over here to the beaver dam. And it was sitting out on this feature out here. This corner. Not that it matters because I'm going to widen that accuracy out. Just because no sense in being that precise. And the map may not be exactly right with the GPS too. So, okay, here's a porcupine. Little guy, I saw this climbing a tree. They're really a big prickly sloth, aren't they? Anyway, porcupine. Let's see what it gives me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the North American one. If I saw the African one, that would be impressive, huh? All right, and that is just over here, just past this little corner in the trail. It's climbing a little pine tree, but this is where it really matters. I'm not exactly sure which one of those trees it was, so I'm going to make this a little bit wider. Animals move around, so you don't need to have 1 meter accuracy, but it was definitely right around that corner. All right, so as I've been talking, iNaturalist has finished uploading all my photos. That's the really time-consuming part of this. I've entered all the data, and now I'm going to hit upload. Submit observations right there. Saves them. And when it's done, come on. There are my latest observations. It shows me the most recent ones that I've made on a map, and all of these dots are observations that I've entered of different things all over the place. So let's add a few more. Show you a couple other things. You probably already have the idea. Once again, I'm going to choose my files. Here's the folder. I've got, let's see, this millipede, the spider here. What else? All right, let's just tell you what. I'll meet you back at the upload page in just 1 second for you and a few minutes for me. Okay, so before I let you go, I'm going to show you a few more little tricks you can do in here. I've selected some more photos. They're uploading. I've already combined this one. Okay, I've got 4 photos of this spider. And again, I'll just show you again. I'm going to hold Control down on my keyboard and click all 4 of those photos. And then I'm going to hit Combine. Now, I don't know much about spiders. I'm putting all the photos I have. Hopefully, that will help somebody that does know about spiders provide a better identification. Now, you don't need to know what anything is. Again, there's that artificial intelligence kind of feature here that will give you a suggestion. But I'm going to keep this one really general. I'm going to put in spiders in higher order, and I'm going to put it up like that. And eventually, someone might come along and review my observation and say, hey, I know what that is, or at least maybe they'll get me down to a family or a genus or something. This one here, I already combined these photos. Found this millipede under a log at the edge of a vernal pool. So I think this looks pretty cool, whatever this is. But I don't know what kind it is, but I know that it's one of the flat-backed millipedes. So I can just put it that much closer. The more accurate you can be, the better. But again, only go as far as you know. And again, this spider here was crawling through the water. And it was about 1 degree Celsius. And it was crawling through water at the edge of a vernal pool. I thought that was pretty neat. So hopefully somebody will know what that is. Now, better put my location in. This is only taking a little bit longer, again, because I'm running Zoom at the same time. There's the map. All right. It was basically right beside that millipede, and I'm going to put a wide accuracy on that because I can't see through the trees. Somewhere in that area. Now, here I've got a complicated bunch of things. I've got an image with 2 salamanders and a cricket, and I've got some images of the salamanders separately, and there's the cricket, and there's the rock where they were. So I want to have an observation for each salamander because they're both a different type of organism, and for that cricket. But I need to use this photo twice, and I need to use this photo a bunch of times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and instead of combining, I'm going to say duplicate. Boom, I have 2. Then you don't have to upload a file twice and sit there for twice as long. Now I'm going to take this, hold Control, this, you know what I did? There we go. And this one, I'm going to combine those. And then I'm going to take this one, this one, this one, and this one, and I combine those. And oh my, I forgot this rock. I wanted to show the rock where I found it. So I'm going to duplicate that twice. I'm going to combine one with the cricket. I'm going to combine one with the blue spotted salamander. Oop. And I'm going to combine one with the newt. There we go. So now I have 3 observations, but they were all found at the exact same place. So here's one shortcut I'm going to show you. I'm going to hit Control, click on all 3 observations, and then I'm going to click the location thing here. And now I'm going to plot the same location for all 3 observations. As soon as I spot where I was, yes, I walked all the way up here. This thing. And as soon as I can see the resolution here, there we go. And I walked back here, and somewhere in this area here, I turned over a rock. So I'm going to update that. And now all three of those observations have the same location data. Now, something else I'm going to show you. This is the observation for, I'll show you the photos. A blue spotted salamander. Here's a Springfield cricket, and here's a red eft of a red spotted newt, all under the same rock and really early in the year, March 27th and like 4 degrees Celsius at this point. Really cool early observation. So I've got this photo here and this photo of the guy on the scale. So you can see it's not a very big one, it's a juvenile, and the rock that I turned over. And of course there's garbage because, you know, there is. Anyway, you turn over a rock, you find these things. Now the reason it's moved, someone's going to wonder, when you find amphibians or really any vertebrates under cover, in general, it's a good idea to move them out from under that cover when you replace it. You always want to put the rock back, but if you put the rock back on top of them, you could squish them. They crawled under there after it was already sitting in place. They didn't have something put down on. You need to move them out, and there's ways to handle them safely and carefully. So I set it down on this nearby rock with some pre-lichen, took the photo, took a measurement, replaced the rock exactly how it was, and then encouraged the animals to go back underneath. So that's what you're seeing here. But I'm including all of the photos in my observation. So I want to note something about this. I'm going to include a note. The first photo is in situ. Now, if you put the asterisks around text like that, it will be italic. Isn't that wonderful? In situ is a Latin expression which means as found, and it's typically italicized. The same with the Latin names of species, if you're typing one of those. And this works in the comments and observations too on iNaturalist. You just put the little asterisks around it and it italicizes it like it's supposed to be. It's really a little handy thing. And I just wanted to mention that. The first photo was in situ. And the fourth photo is just explaining what it is. So just a little comment, and I'm going to drop in the species. Look at that. It's already suggesting it. So I'll take the suggestion because it's not going to make me search it right there. Now here's something else I'm going to do. Now, we've got two things coming up here when I typed in red spotted newt. And if you're looking for the suggestion from iNaturalist, it's only ever going to give you this first one, the species. Now I'm going to be more specific than the species because I know that this is a subspecies of the eastern newt called the red spotted newt. So to be more accurate, I'm selecting the subspecies. And again, let's have a look here. Very, very tiny red eft. After the larval phase, they spend about 4 years on land, and in our area, they spend about 4 years on land in this terrestrial phase before transforming into the adult form. As you can see, if you stretch that tail out, he might just hit the 3 centimeter mark. Very tiny little eft. So in this case, the fourth photo is in situ. Now, on your phone, you can reorder the photos. You can select which photo is first, but for some reason on here, you have so much more functionality. That's one thing I wish they'd add. So here we go. Fourth photo. C2, my asterisk. comment. Now you can always edit these later on too, or add photos, etc., etc. All right, last one. Springfield cricket. There we go. Right, filled everything correctly. There we go. 3 observations, 1 location, a bunch of split photos, a bunch of combined photos, all the fancy footwork as far as uploading observations are concerned. Here's a moss that I recognize. I'm going to combine that. It's stair-step moss. Show you this. It's a very lovely moss. It's very uncommon, but there we go. I'm going to put that in. Stair-step moss. My location, right up here. It's over here somewhere. Okay. Now, got a bunch more things. I won't show you all of these today, but I wanted to show you 1 or 2 more little things. Again, combining photos into 1 observation is a good idea. This is the same snake. This is the same snake. I'm going to hold control, hold control. This is the rock it was under. I'm going to combine that into 1. I was very excited to see this. I didn't expect to find one on March 27th when it was 4 degrees. Really cool. The earliest snake I've ever seen in Ottawa. Nice eastern garter snake. I'll add that information in a second. This is just a cool spider. I don't know what kind of spider it is, but I'm going to put it up and hopefully someone does. But this photo, I have a lichen and I have a moss. Now what do? Do I put up a lichen or a moss? Well, I'm going to click duplicate, and one of them is going to be a moss. I know my mosses. So I'm just going to click mosses. And I don't know my lichens either. So I'm going to, whoops, might work a little better over here. You can see it. Oh my. I don't even know. So if I don't know, what's iNaturalist going to tell me? Thinks it's a pixie cup lichen. Well, that kind of makes sense. Now, if I don't know where this is coming from, I can click view and it takes me to another page and it's going to show me something about pixie cup lichens. Now, while that loads, I'm going to show you this. Unfortunately, when I got home, I found a tick. Very small, as you can see. It was walking on my pants. This is the side of my thumb. That's how tiny that is. And because it's so tiny, I'm not sure what kind of tick this is. So I'm going to put it in as just tick. But I also don't know where I got it. Now I have observations from down here and from up here. I came in this parking lot and did a great big hike and back. So here's what I'm going to do. It's not big enough. Cut it down a little. There. I'm going to take this circle and make a wide accuracy. Somewhere in this area is where I picked up that tick. Somewhere. It's not the point, it's the area. This way, there can be a record of this type of tick age class on this date. Maybe that helps a project in the future if someone's looking for observation data about these. So I'll just put in a little note. Found, picked up. Certainty circle is another term for the accuracy circle around an observation. So there we go. Now, let's look at my tab on the Pixie Cup lichens. I don't know if that's what I'm seeing. I'm not sure. I can click through photos here. Oh, look, there's something kind of like what I'm seeing, a trumpet lichen. It's in this genus. Yeah, kind of like this. Okay, I'm okay with that suggestion from iNaturalist to call this a Pixie Cup lichen in that genus generically. So I'm going to leave that there. And hopefully an expert will come and make that a better identification or correct it if that's not correct. And that's that. All right. So I hope if you haven't uploaded before from your PC, or you have photos you were thinking of uploading and you weren't sure how to do it, I hope that was helpful. I showed you a bunch of the different things you can do, combining photos, dividing photos or duplicating them, how to enter multiple locations at once. You can do that with notes too, by the way, how to enter the species, enter the subspecies, or take a suggestion from iNaturalist. Hope that's a little bit more familiar for you. Again, if you haven't used iNaturalist before, I'm going to include the link below, and please give it a try. If you have old observations, older photos, the older, the more interesting they are. If you have photos and you can put an approximate date and time on them and an approximate location for where they were taken, that's really valuable data at this point. You can make that accessible to the global community of researchers and scientists. So really, please consider using iNaturalist. And again, hope this was helpful, and we'll see you again another time.